Hello, good afternoon and welcome to The Pulse. My name is Daniel Daze. In our headlines this hour, we take you across the country where our regional correspondents tell us the biggest issues which have made the news. As we count down to the minority political parties and independent candidates debate on JoyNews, we meet the independent presidential candidate Onipayede, Ossom, Teye. And Uefa Champions League soccer resumes today. More coming up here on The Pulse. Stay with us. And welcome to the bulletin. Let's begin in Parliament, where Communications Minister Ossom Ekufo says the common platform for mobile telecom companies built by Kelni GVG has helped the country recover 770 million Ghana cedis that was lost through potential under-declaration of taxes between 2015 and now. She says 470 million cedis has been recovered for the period covering 2015 and the first quarter of 2017. The Communications Minister was responding to a question on the floor of Parliament by Ningo Prampram MP Sam George. Let's speak with our Parliamentary Affairs correspondent, Joseph Opoku-Gakpo. Joe, do we know how Esther Ossom Ekufo arrived at this figure? Joseph, unmute your microphone, please, so we can hear you.
A commonly recurring mistake. It has been fixed. So I guess you can hear me now, Daniel.
Yes, Joseph.
I'll go ahead with that. She's been giving the specific details on how they arrived at those figures. She's been explaining that when it comes to the said common platform that Kelni GVG has built, you recall that Kelni GVG is actually a company that went into a contract on the 27th of December 2020 with government to establish the said common platform for the mobile telecom operators in order to help with revenue monitoring and all. And this is in pursuant of an act that Parliament passed, that's the Communication Services Tax Act 2008. And you recall this was very controversial for a very long time because the minority had claimed that this is job that was already being done by other companies, including Suba, AfriWave, as well as the Ghana Revenue Authority, and so this was not necessary. So Madam Eslosu has actually been explaining that there are four main things that this said contract entails: fraud management, traffic monitoring, revenue assurance, and then monitoring of mobile money. And she went on to give the breakdown that when it comes to the results that they've achieved so far, first of all, with fraud management, she said that since they're coming into force of this contract, the state has actually made tax savings of 327.3 million cedis. And that's over the life of the contract, which is spanning for the next 5 years and ending somewhere in December 2022. The contract will deliver 799.6 million Ghana cedis. And this is through the establishment of a system called the Telecop, and that's tracking the origination of international calls, and they are now seeing up to 150,000 international calls coming in, which is where they are earning that particular money from. She went on to say that when it comes to issues having to do with taxes specifically, let me quote that bit of her response to you. She said that for mobile money monitoring, the common platform has reported monthly usage as of July of around 63.6 billion cedis. And that as far as the operators are concerned, they had detected a situation of under-declarations, and that the introduction of the common platform has uncovered that prior to the introduction of the common platform, an amount of 470 million Ghana cedis in taxes were lost from potential under-declaration between 2015 and 2017 first quarter. And so 470 million just between 2015 and 2017 first quarter. And then she went on to say that an estimated 300 million cedis in taxes was saved between the first quarter of 2017 and date as a result of the announcement of the implementation of the common platform on March 8, 2017, and the actual implementation date. Then she said that when it comes to the total lifespan of this contract, the potential loss that the contract would help save is actually 1.5 billion Ghana cedis. That's in 2017 December when the contract was signed, and 2022 December when the contract will actually expire. Those are not the only two levels of savings in terms of the 470 million, the 300 million, and as well the figures I gave you earlier having to do with the 327 million. Additionally, she says that in terms of the real money that's being paid Kelni GVG, an amount of $1.1 million has been saved. And she explained that when you look at the contract in question, the National Communications Authority was paying an amount of $915,000 to AfriWave to do the same assignment. And additionally, the Ghana Revenue Authority was paying Suba an amount of 1.6 million, all totaling about 2.591 million. But currently, the National Communications Authority is paying only 596 million, while the GRA is paying 894 million totaling 1.49 million. And so when you look at the difference, government is saving money to the tune of around $1.1 million just by engaging Kelni GVG on this contract as compared to the same assignment that AfriWave and Suba were doing, which they were earning $2.59 million for. And so those have been the breakdowns as have been given by the Communications Minister, Eslohusu, when she responded to questions on the floor of Parliament earlier today.
Now, these questions were raised by Sam George, who is a member of the Communications Committee of Parliament. Was he given the opportunity to respond and give a reaction to these figures raised?
Samuel George actually asked follow-up questions. For example, he was asking that if the minister is claiming there's been under-declaration that's been detected and the sums in question have been recovered, what's going to happen to the individuals or mobile telecommunication companies that have been involved in the said under-declaration? Because then it means that the taxes that should have gone to the state is what the companies declared, and it took the intervention of the Kelni GVG initiative to actually detect these anomalies, and the said sums recovered. Her response was that currently, the said anomalies that have been detected, the details of it have been communicated to the National Communications Authority, which is the regulator, and also the Ghana Revenue Authority, which is actually the institution that's supposed to collect the taxes, and that any actions in terms of sanctions or possible prosecutions are things that are being left to the said institutions to do. And so if Mr. George actually has any questions on that, he should direct the questions to them. But Samuel George is also raising a very critical point that when you look at the contract itself, this is a contract that was signed in December 2017. But the minister made the point that the recoveries that have actually been made date as far back as to the year 2015. So she said that between 2015 and the first quarter of 2017, they recovered to the tune of 470 million, and then between 2017 first quarter and now is 300 million. So Mr. George said that how come that the contract that has been signed starting in December 2017, the company has been able to help make recoveries dating as far back as 2015. And the minister explained that after they took over, they were given the opportunity to do a vetting of the monies that has been paid in taxes by the telecom companies dating as far back as the year 2015. That's how come in analyzing the data and crunching the figures from 2015, those said anomalies were detected, hence the payments from even periods far before the contract actually came in force.
Joseph, am I to understand this to mean that these telcos have paid 470 million between 2017 and now as monies they should have paid between 2015 and 2017?
That's precisely so. The minister says these are amounts that have actually been uncovered. And to quote her statement specifically, she says taxes to that tune have actually been saved in reference to the 300 million and then the 470 million Ghana cedis. And so she gives the indication that this is actually money that's been recovered from the telecom companies. She doesn't give the specifics on whether the said amounts have actually been paid specifically or over what duration the said amounts were paid after the anomalies were detected. But she says this money that's been uncovered and the said sums have actually been saved in terms of taxes that should have gone to the companies that the telecom companies had under-declared, but those specifics have now been detected.
So, Joseph, what else was discussed on the floor today?
A number of other things have been unfolding here in Parliament. You recall that this particular question that Samuel George is putting to the minister is one that had been outstanding for quite a while. The minister had been asked to come respond to it on 3 different occasions. The last time was Wednesday when she didn't appear, and the speaker, Professor Michael Teye, gave a directive that after the 3 separate occasions of her not appearing, today, Friday, is a day that she should show up and respond to the question. Well, Professor Michael Teye is unhappy with media reportage that went out in connection with this particular issue on Wednesday. He actually read from the Herald newspaper on the floor of Parliament earlier today and said that Herald had put out details that Communications Minister Eslousu was running away from accountability when it comes to the Kelni GVG contract. Professor Michael Teye says that is a misrepresentation of the actions of the minister and the concerns that were raised on the floor of Parliament on Wednesday. He says that he put out details that the minister had actually sent a letter to Parliament indicating that she hadn't gotten details of the said details from the National Communications Authority, which is how come she had requested that a different date be given for her to respond to the question. So to quote Professor Michael Teye, he said that he set a warning for the very final time that media organizations that report on development in Parliament and represent circumstances, as he claims, will be sanctioned per parliamentary procedure. So he dealt with that issue over a very long period for about 19 minutes. He kept going back to those details and cautioning the media and asking that the media does the right thing in terms of reporting that needs to be done from the House. Before then, the Communications Minister, Eslousu, was given the opportunity to come respond to the questions. Away from that, there have been concerns from the minority in Parliament that the House, you recall, was originally scheduled to go on break from the 31st of July. That was moved to the 4th of August and eventually to the 10th of August. And now we are being told that the House will go on break next week, Friday, which is the 14th of August. The minority is unhappy. They say that the House is being dragged unnecessarily in terms of the proceedings. There's COVID-19 and MPs need to go rest and work in their constituencies. So the minority says the majority will not have their cooperation in terms of business in the House beyond the 4th of August. Finally, there's been approval by the House a while ago of the supplementary budget request that came to the House from the Finance Minister, Kenneth Oriata. And as we speak, the House has gone ahead to give approval that for the 2020 fiscal year that we are in at the moment, the government can go ahead and spend an amount of specifically 109.9 billion Ghana cedis. You recall that when the appropriations bill was passed in November last year, for the 2020 fiscal year, it was expected that government will spend a maximum amount of 98 billion Ghana cedis. And so what the House has done today is to request the Finance Minister's additional request for supplementary estimates to the tune of 11.8 billion cedis. And now government can spend an amount of 109.9 billion cedis. The minority had concerns that a lot of the expenditure has nothing to do with COVID-19, and so they wouldn't support its approval. But eventually the House approved this amendment for the House to spend the said amount.
Was it approved by consensus, or it was approved by ballot?
It wasn't approved by ballot. It was eventually approved by consensus. But the minority was very categorical in their objections as they had previously raised. For example, they're raising questions that the 11 billion they're asking to spend, they are hoping to spend only about 580 million Ghana cedis on COVID-19 preparedness response in particular. They are planning to spend 762 million on the preparedness and response, that's the phase 2, the 580 is for the phase 1, and then about 600 million on health infrastructure. But a lot of the other monies are going into other things, including 300 million cedis that's going to the Electoral Commission, 300 million cedis that's going to the National Identification Authority, 1.1 billion is going to the security agencies, 50 million is actually coming to Parliament to help with parliamentary business, and also there are payments with relation to roads, agriculture, energy, and other things to the tune of 490 million.
Right.
And so the minority objected, although they eventually gave room to allow for the approval without any vote on the floor.
Joseph Opoku-Gakpo, thank you very much for bringing us those updates from Parliament. This is your election headquarters, and Ghana's Electoral Commission has today declared that it will not compile a new voter register in the foreseeable future. Deputy Chairperson Dr. Bosman Asare says data from the just-ended mass registration is a credible reflection of Ghanaians who have attained the age of 18 or more. The EC faced stiff opposition from the National Democratic Congress and some civil society groups as it served notice of discarding the register used for the 2012 elections. The EC says it has so far registered a little over 16 million Ghanaians, which is in line with the estimates from the Statistical Service on eligible voters. Listen.
We've been hearing people are talking about the 2019 register. Had a total of 16,845,420 voters. 16,845,420 voters. Apart from this, we also had 797,493 people quarantined, who were quarantined. In other words, they were prohibited from voting. These people were on the duplicates and the exceptions list. The political parties are aware of this. This list was gathered from 2012. People who tried to register double, so they were prevented from voting. And these people make up almost 800,000. So when this is added to the registered voters of 2019, what it means is that overall the total registered will be 17.6, a little over 17.6 million Ghanaians. Had the Commission maintained the old register and conducted a limited registration exercise in all electoral areas and registration centers across the country, we would have estimated to conservatively, that's at the minimum, add about 2 million Ghanaians onto the existing register. And I know this is basic mathematics. 16.8 plus 2 billion will give us what? 18.8. Is that not so? So what we are saying is that without the compilation of the new voters register, the Commission was on track to register some 90 million people plus another 800,000 people who remain on the multiple list. This would have given us a total number of almost 19.6 million persons. Approximately 20 million had we maintained the old register and done the limited registration, as compared to the current figure of 16.63 million. Some 3 million difference. With the compilation of this register, those on the duplicates exception list from 2012 have had the opportunity to also register. And still the Commission is well within about 52%, 53% of Ghana's population. In conclusion, the Commission's objective of ensuring a credible register is on track. With an estimated population of 31 million Ghanaians, many experts will agree that a voter population between 50% to 55% of the total population for a country in sub-Saharan Africa like Ghana is completely acceptable.
Dr. Asare says no new mass registration is likely to take place in the near future.
This commission has said that this is going to be the last time where we are going to compile a register, a mass register like this. And even beyond that, the commission is anticipating that in future register compilation, that when we are adding people onto it, everyone will come with an identity document, which is the passport and the Ghana card. So that's why we want to do everything possible. The deduplication process has been triggered. We want to make sure that all those who don't qualify to be on the roll are removed. We are doing everything possible to ensure that we have a register that is very credible, so that we won't come back to Ghanaians and say we are going to do that. But this commission has made that point very clear, that we are only going to be adding on to this particular register. So no new register, at least in the next foreseeable future.
Eliasu Tanko in the Northeast region is next. Eliasu, great to have you here from our own correspondents. What's been happening in the Northeast region this week? Right, Eliasu, please unmute your microphone so we can hear you.
Hi, Daniel.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yeah, so it's rather a sad story from the Northeast region as an 83-year-old man has been kidnapped in a border community in the Bunkurugu, Nakwanduri district. And this man has been in hostage for 5 days now. He was kidnapped on Monday morning while he was on his way to a family meeting. We understand those who kidnapped him are not known. And like I said, according to our information, the man is currently being held somewhere in Togo. Yesterday, I traveled to the village and met with the family. I met with the elder son who has been involved in this matter, the wife, a 67-year-old woman, and I spoke to them, and they told me the man was on his way to a family meeting. He was intercepted on his way by 3 men on a motorbike and was driven out of the community to somewhere in Togo. As we speak, they are not aware the whereabouts of the man. And yesterday, the elder son and the wife, they stood on behalf of the entire family and called on the police, especially and the district authorities, to intervene to rescue this man. So this is a sad story coming from the Northeast region, specifically from Kambago in the Bunkurugu Nakwanduri district.
Very sad, very sad. Yeah, so it's difficult to try and understand the motivation for this. Do the police have any idea? What would anyone want with an 83-year-old?
Well, when I visited the community, I was able to glean some information. And what I was told was that this incident was suspected to be linked to a wizard accusation leveled against, or witchcraft accusation leveled against this man some 2 months ago. And according to my information, this man was accused by another family who suspected he was responsible for the death of their relative. And the man was attacked. When I went, a structure in the house was burnt down. And so the man reported the incident to the police in the Bunkurugu district. The police moved in. Some 5 boys were identified. They were arrested. Later on, according to my information, the man came back to say that he wanted the issue to be resolved at home. So he withdrew the case from the police station, and then they resolved it at the community level.
Right.
Subsequently, these people later summoned the man to the chief palace at Bunkurugu and went all the way up to the overlord of the Bunkurugu. The man was summoned there, and according to my information, the man was subsequently charged to pay 1,000 Ghana cedis, and he was also asked to face a witch doctor to clear his name. The man denied the allegation, has consistently refused to see this witch doctor. And according to the family, they believe that the man is being forced to go and meet a witch doctor somewhere in Togo, but they are not very sure. And so they are calling on the police to intervene and rescue the man. I spoke to the police in Bunkurugu too, even though the police commander refused to go on record. But he told me that on the 9th, the incident happened on Monday. They went to the community and they were able to identify some suspects. So the police, according to them, went to the suspect. The suspect has not been found. They have left information at the community. And so according to them, the case is currently being investigated.
Elias Utanko, thank you very much for joining us with that update from the Northeast region. We're still live here on The Pulse on the JoyNews channel with me, Daniel Daze. When we come back, we'll take you across the country where we get the latest and biggest stories from across the regions from our own correspondents. We'll be back. Thanks Thanks for staying with us. And up next is today's edition of From Our Own Correspondents, a segment dedicated to the top stories reported on during the week in various regions. You must make it a point to get yourself abreast with the major happenings in the country in the course of the week. Today we start in the central region with Richard Kojonyako. Richard, tell us about the biggest issues in the central region this week. Richard, please unmute your microphone.
Yes.
Right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. Please go ahead.
Okay, so the biggest issue for me in the central region this week was what happened at the Jumakon, accusations and counter accusations that led to some clash of a sort. The NDC accusing the MPP and the MPP accusing the NDC. It all started on Wednesday, where the canopy under which the Electoral Commission officials were working under was pulled down, and some other things vandalized, including some vehicles at the registration center at Jumakon. So there were some allegations by the NDC that the MPP candidate for that area, Rashidi Tuafo, had organized some tax to go and cause that kind of confusion there. And so in a sharp rebuttal, the NDC also organized a press conference, and then they accused the transport minister. They also accused Mr. Lord Comey and other MPP officials of being in a meeting and masterminding this kind of violence. Today, in the last hour, the MPP has also been holding a similar press conference debunking the allegations by the NDC yesterday in that press conference. But this is not the first time we've witnessed such confusion in the Jumakon ever since the registration started. There were other things as well. About 3 such incidents have occurred. All of that surrounded, or they are about people busing other people to one registration center or the other. The MPP in their press conference this afternoon indicated that they buzzed some people to some of the registration center, and these people are not indigenous. They are not people from Jumakon, and so that is why they perceive that those actions did occur in that particular area. But no arrest has since been made. We went to the police. We were at the police regional headquarters to ask them what they were doing about it. Indeed, they confirmed that something of this sort, a clash, had really happened at Jumakon, but they are also investigating, and so they are inviting the general public, whoever has any information, to get to the police with that, so the police can move swiftly to cause the arrest or can even help them in their investigation. And so this is the biggest story. You know, in the central region, since the registration started, apart from Kaswa, where we had the issue which Madam Hawa Kumsin was involved, Jumakon Enyan Isiam constituency has been one hotbed in the central region that we are registering these pockets of violence. And so for Jumakon and Kaswa, these are the hotspots in the central region as we speak now, but the registration has ended.
Now, Richard, take us back to Jumakon, because I want to understand what makes this place a hotspot. Who are the candidates involved? I understand that the NDC candidates is quite notable.
Yes, so we have KCL Atoforsen. He is the incumbent and the NDC candidate for this particular area, and this is his 3rd attempt for that seat. But he's been the incumbent since 2008, and so this will be his 3rd time if he succeeds in winning the seat. And then we have a new face, Rashidi Tuafo. He's a young, enterprising individual, and connoisseurs within that constituency and political watchers feel that the seat could go either way. The incumbent could lose the seat, and then the one who is a major challenger in this election could also win or lose. So it could go either way. So it is a too close to call contest. And so that is why the place is fast becoming a hotbed. But hitherto, Jumakon was not that hot. But with this president election, a lot of things are happening in the constituency, and we're keeping our eyes closely on the development in that particular constituency.
Thank you very much, Richard Kojo-Nyako, for bringing us the latest from the Central Region. Elections and the voter registration featuring heavily there. Next on the list is Albert Sorry from the Upper East Region. Now, Albert will be telling us about the Bagri Dam spillage. Albert, tell us more about this.
Yes, so 2 days ago, NADMO announced that they've received information from authorities in Burkina Faso that this year again, they will be spilling the Bagri Dam. Now, last year, we didn't have effects of the Bagri Dam because it wasn't spilled that much. But the information we are getting now is that the rains there have been heavy. And so anytime from now, the dam is going to be spilled. And so NADMO is beginning to take steps to help people who are along the waterways of the Volta Lake, which usually is the area that gets affected when the dam is spilled. They are helping these people to prepare for the effects of the spillage. Now, what NADMO is saying is that they've launched Operation Thunderbolt, which they are going to do this. And I think that looking at what has happened in the past, this is something that will help a lot of the people. The challenge is that every year the farmers still go to the lands they have around the waterways to do their farming. And they do this with the hope that if they are lucky, they'll be able to harvest before the dam is spilled. Or if they are very lucky, then the dam may not even be spilled at all. And so their crops will be spared. And so I've been talking to some of them, just calls on the phone because of my previous contact with them. And as at 2 days ago, when NADMO first made the announcement, most of them had not yet heard that the dam was going to be spilled. So the expectation is that with the preparations NADMO is making, they'll be able to help these people before the dam is spilled.
Right.
A while ago, I was talking to the regional NADMO director, Jerry Asamani, and he told me that they have not yet started spilling the dam. And so there's still some time for us to prepare.
When are they expected to begin the spillage, and by which period is NADMO giving itself? Has that communication been made clear?
Yes. What NADMO has said is that between now and 16th of August, they will do the trainings for the farmers who usually get affected. They will do some training for them between now and that time. And for the Upper East Region, the training will take place between 13th of August and then 15th. Now, this will be next week, by which time, if the dam is spilled, we may not see the effect for some time, because what happens is that usually the water from the Bagri Dam alone is not enough to cause the destruction that we see. What happens is that we also usually have a lot of rains in the Upper East Region between August and September. We usually have so many heavy rains. And so when the Bagri Dam is also spilled, then you have so much destruction caused to farms along the area. So this is what we are looking at. For now, they haven't started, but as at the time they released the statement, which was 2 days ago, they said that the dam had reached the 34.62 mark, and the depth it reaches, the water reaches before they start spilling, is 34.75. So it's not
inching closer,
that much left for the spillage to start. So it could be any time in the coming days.
Right, Albert, we will definitely be coming back to you for updates on that, and stay safe out there. Let's move to the Savannah region to look at one of the biggest stories nationwide this week. Isaac Nonya has been very busy on the network reporting on Indera Jakpa Senior High Technical School, and he's joining us on telephone. So Isaac, we've done a lot of the news reportage throughout the day about how these students, went on rampage, destroyed school property. But take us into the township where the school is. How have the people been receiving the news?
Damago, even though this is not a new thing to them because Indewura has suffered a similar thing years back. But one, it has delayed and this has come. Many residents, particularly those staying around the school, are not happy. Some have moved onto the school and they are still coming. As I stand right on campus here, I've seen a couple of residents with some tutors who are asking questions to know the cause of what really happened. So we are also told that the king of Gonjala will be sending a delegation to the school between now and next week Monday to find out from the students directly as to the cause of the reactions to the damaging of properties and what have you. So generally, residents who have heard of this thing, either radio or TV, are not happy about the reactions of the students.
Right. What about parents? I know you've had the opportunity to visit the school campus on a number of occasions since this began. Have you met any parents? What has been the reaction from that front?
Well, those people that we met from day one up to now, we could not tell whether any of them was a parent or not. A lot of them are males, prospective fathers who have come to Indewura Japa the very night the incident happened and the following morning. But we try to know how many of them were parents or just ordinary residents. That we couldn't tell. Okay. But when the general picture is very gloom, it's possibly that if parents was among them, they equally will not be happy of the incident because these are students that they have moved in and trying that when they pass well, they come and sustain livelihood within the family house. Now, the MCE, we understand, was a tutor of the school, and he made a few comments about punishment. What did he say? Yes, the MCE, having known the school for years, I think he was right by his answer. Because according to him, he was very shocked. Shocked because he did not expect students who have enjoyed what we call free education, and the last tale of it, their parents will be billed to pay money that is not supposed to pay. He also thought that at least if you have any problem, sit down with the school management, communicate with them, and then your grievances will be addressed. We also realized that yesterday, the MC, being the Mr. Chairman, together with the school management, met with the student leadership. And we are told the student shows some remorse, and they'll be issuing a statement apologizing to the school and then residents of Damango. Okay, we know the... Right, let's take a listen to the MCE first of all, then we'll come back.
Particular school until my appointment as the municipal chief executive. It saddens me that such a thing has happened in Indewura Japa Senior High Technical School, and it's going to be a dent, a scar on 2020 candidates of Indewura Japa Senior High. It's going to be a scar on you forever and ever. I am very, very, very surprised that such a thing will happen at a time that you need to concentrate in your exams. Exams is part of every student's activity. You have to go through it. It is what makes you what you want to be in the future. Last night, I have to beg the VRA to put on the lights because whether you demonstrated or not, it wouldn't stop the exam from going on. It wouldn't stop it. All schools in Ghana will write. West is in their school will not write. That is West. But I know that no matter the situation, because you yourselves, after going back to lie down, you would have thought over your actions. And today, this early morning, as at 6:30, we were here. To my surprise, I saw a lot of you already in uniform, ready to write. What have you done to yourselves? You have harmed yourself than any other person that you wanted your grievances to be heard. Today, the paper, it will be starting at 8:30. Here we are, talking to you to be sober. I want to, on behalf of the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, to wish you all the best in these exams. Government has done what it can do to put you in a situation that you have a better future. Today, what happened? If the school is going to take assessment of the level of distractions that you've made, and they want to bill you at the end of the day, and that one will happen, whether yes or no. When you are coming for your results, you are not going to come in a mob. You are going to come individually to come and pick your certificate. And that is when the bill will be imposed on you, and you will not even have the access of getting your results on the internet, because the school block it at the end of the day.
You're still live here on The Pulse, and this is from our correspondents. We're going across the country to speak with all our regional correspondents to find out, the biggest story that was reported in that part of the country this week. Isaac Nonya is still with us, and Isaac, we understand the Municipal Director of Education of West Gonja, Ferguson Ake, did not have kind words for the students.
Mr. Ferguson Ake was speaking in regard of what really happened the very night that he was not around. He was also speaking on behalf of the directorate, where he has to remind the students of the reason of being on campus. And instead of doing that, they were doing the opposite. So he was using the opportunity to cite them to be able to continue with the rest of the papers, to write well, and nevertheless come for their punishment.
Right, let's take a listen now.
And we are in the news all over the country. It's rather unfortunate. I wish it didn't happen. And we have a lot of communication channels. If you have any issue, we expect you to address such issues to the management. But you went on rampage, destroying properties and what have you. That is so bad. And the whole directorate is not happy about what has happened. And I will not miss words. I'm really disappointed. But you are here to write. We want to encourage you to concentrate on your paper and write. Examination is just a process to climb higher. It is not do and die affair. We have all gone through this process. So I don't even understand why you should even be complaining about the spacing. Look at it. We're here on Monday, and we realize even compared to other schools we went to, yours is even closer. So the regional director will be here. We'll be looking at the issues, and any decision will be communicated to you. But I would like to appeal to you that you should calm down. This is your future. Anything you do today will affect you for life. Because of what you have done, there will be a lot of attention, even concerning the papers that will be coming from this center. And it will not help you at the end of the day. So I'm appealing to you, when you finish this paper, go back calmly and continue studying. Because yesterday you were supposed to actually study for today's paper. I'm an examiner when it comes to social studies. And I don't even know what's your problem concerning this paper that you went on rampage and you were destroying properties.
You can see the students, they're looking very remorseful in their seats. Now, Martina Bogui will connect from the northern region, where she'll be telling us about an unfortunate killing at Chogu Manaile and the Tamale Senior High School riot. Martina, let's begin with the Chogu killing. What happened?
We are told that a thief stole some cattle and tied them at the Nobisco forest. And the community got wind of it and then picked him up. Now they brought him to the chief palace. They apparently wanted to lynch him. So the chief called the assemblyman to get the police to intervene. The police were invited, and when they came, there was a scuffle between the police and the community because the community insisted they would lynch the man. And so the police, in their bid to rescue the man, shot, we are told, shot somebody. But when I spoke to the police, they denied shooting the person. They are saying that an object hit him. But later on, the regional crime officer admitted that it was a gunshot, but they are unable to tell where the gunshot came from. Now, yesterday, the family of the deceased were at the legal aid office. They are looking at possibly taking legal action, but they are also appealing to the Ghana government, to the Interior Minister and the IGP to get a committee instituted to investigate into the matter and ensure that those involved in the killing of their son be brought to book. As we are speaking now, the family is at the morgue where the autopsy is being carried on. Daniel.
Now, Martina, Tamale has also seen its own riots at Tamale Senior High School, to be specific.
Yes.
So help us understand what happened.
We are told that on Tuesday, after the science paper, the students mobilized themselves between 50 and 100. They were going to attack the exams officer, who they alleged was too strict and didn't allow them have their way to copy. Now they were intercepted. I spoke to an eyewitness, and he said when he was asking the students, where are you going? They said they are going to destroy the master's bungalow, destroy his family and all that. He asked what was happening. He said the person didn't really have time to explain. They were too in a hurry to go and then show their worth, their might. But they were stopped by their senior housemaster and some other masters. They were spoken to. The headmaster was brought in, and then they were able to calm situations. The police were invited into the scene, and they managed to neutralize everything. I spoke to the exams officer involved, and he says that.
Right, Martina Bugri there with that report, and you can imagine that's one of the big stories we had this week regarding these riots. Let's go to listen to a similar story in the Ashanti region. Nanayao Jima joins us. Nanayao, unfortunately, Chinibuakodia Senior High School also saw some chaos with, a lot of students complaining about exams. Take us into that situation itself.
So after the first part of the integrated science paper on Monday, the students went BSEC because, according to them, the invigilators were being too strict on them. And this is something that a lot of people, including the teachers themselves, do not understand. They kept asking students about what they mean by being too strict, but students will not give vivid explanation of that. So after the first part of the paper, some students who believe that the teachers and the invigilators did not treat them fairly went straight to the DCE's office to complain and also ask him to remove the headmaster from the school. And the DCE was able to calm students who were threatening to boycott the second part of the paper. Other students who did not go to the DCE's office but were supposed to go for that dining that afternoon went into the dining hall, and they furiously refused the food they were given and toppled over the furniture in the dining hall, and also threw away the food and the saucepan they were served in as well. So the DC and other authorities, traditional authorities in the area, Kumaru to be precise, calmed down the students, and after 2 hours or more, they went back in to sit for the paper. So the second part of the integrated science paper actually delayed for more than 2 hours. And later, we had interview with students on Insura FM morning show, and some of the students admitted that they had questions. That's the questions they were supposed to write in the second part from some friends in other schools.
Okay, so because of the delay, they saw the questions. But Nanaya, when these students spoke to you on Insura FM, was there any remorse for what they had done?
Some of the students were remorseful. I went to the school personally to look at or observe what's happening. Some students were remorseful, but others in their actions, I didn't feel any remorse. And some actually believe that the headmaster will not be taken away, or the headmaster will continue to be part of the team supervising the examination. So they actually were, very furious and want the headmaster to be taken off. So in the manner they spoke, everything shows that some of the students were not remorseful. A few of them were remorseful, but subsequently, we know that the students have apologized publicly, and they say they will continue the exam peacefully and not, show any signs or, do what they did to delay the examination again.
Tell us more about this public apology. So was it a statement? Did the school prefect speak? What happened?
So the school prefect in the presence of the district chief executives and other authorities, addressed or read something that they had written, a paper they had written to the public, and through that they apologized to the general public, to the whole of the country, to the education ministry, and also school authorities and district chief executive himself for the action they took on the Monday when, after writing the first part of the paper.
Nana Ojima, thank you very much. Let's stay in the Ashanti region. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin has also connected. Mahmoud, you have the floor. Right, we'll connect with Mahmoud very, very shortly. Peter Senu is our next correspondent from the OT region. Now, in the past weeks, the OT region has been very busy because of the voter registration. Has it been the same this week, or some other big stories have come up? Right, Peter, your microphone is muted. What are the big stories you've covered this week?
Well, the shooting incident at the Kodibenu Nyaku Registration Center this week, that was Sunday, and then following up with other stories, in fact, related stories in the week.
Right. Explain to us what happened in that shooting incident.
Has to do with alleged intimidation from national security operatives who are monitoring. Yeah, on Sunday, we picked an information that there was a shooting incident at Kodibenu Nyaku in the Akan constituency in the OT region. And so we followed up to the registration center to gauge the mood and then see exactly what had happened to those who have been arrested. And then those who were present, the NDC and MPP agents present spoke to us, and then they expressed their frustration as to what exactly transpired before the people were arrested. And so interacting with some of the national security operatives, for them, I'm told their operation is to, when they get the intel, they move in and prevent. And so that is how come we see the somewhat helplessness of the police on the ground versus the, so to say, taken over by the national security operatives. And then we also follow the issues of alleged Togolese coming in to register. Of course, yes, I have seen evidence to that effect, that some of them possess Togo IDs on them. And some of them have also confessed being Togolese. And so these issues are currently in court, and then the court will make its pronouncement on some of these issues in the coming weeks.
Hold on, Peter. So you saw someone with a Togolese ID on him attempting to register?
No, this is evidence I have seen from other sources. Let me say the national security I have seen. Evidence to that effect of people who are in court currently who possess Togo ID cards and then other documents with them.
Okay. Right. Peter, in that case, wrap up with us on these stories and then we move on.
Yeah, so why the Akan constituency being so heated up, I must say this is a must look for constituency in that His Excellency Rashid Bawa, the Ghana's High Commissioner to Nigeria, is back to the constituency to contest in the upcoming parliamentary elections. And he's going against NDC's, I would say, not known in the frontline politics. And so looking at him as a big wig and then an underdog coming up, it's going to be a fiercely contested constituency and an election in the region here. And so that is how come the tension is building up. Of course, Rashid Bawa, His Excellency, wouldn't want to lose, having lost out in 2004 and then has since gone to contest in the Denton constituency, and now he's back to his native constituency to contest. And so these are the dynamics on the grounds that are playing out, and then that may be heightening the somewhat tension we have witnessed, characterizing the just ended registration exercise, Daniel.
Peter, thank you so much for bringing us the latest from the OT region. Let's go to the Bono East region, where Anas Sabit has also reported from his fair share of student riots. Now, these were threats of demonstrations at Ekunfiameyao in the Techiman North District, right?
Exactly, Daniel. We all know after the first paper, which is the integrated science paper on Monday, there were reports of violent acts across some schools in the country. Well, in the Techiman North District, where the Ekunfiameyao Senior High School is located, we received reports or rumors, or we gathered that these students were also planning to demonstrate against some external invigilators whom, according to these students, intimidated them throughout the very first paper they wrote. So they were geared up to, oppose to some of the alleged intimidations they went through the hands of this invigilator within the first paper. Should he report again for yesterday's paper, which is the social studies paper. And so we go to the school a bit earlier to ascertain the situation on the ground. And we also met the district authorities led by the district chief executive, together with the district education director, Mrs. Teresa Pregu, who have also decided to visit the school to ascertain first-hand information whether those rumors we have also heard were true or the opposite. We confirmed the situation from the headmaster and then some of the teachers, indicating that the students were not happy with what happened earlier. Among some of the alleged intimidations the students talk about has to do with the invigilator instructing them to, in fact, not to use the urinary or the washrooms when they want to do so. He instructed, or he insisted, that they do so in the open. And this, according to them, is not supposed to be entertained. And so they were prepared to oppose that kind of treatment. But the timely intervention of the district authorities led by the DCE saved the day, as we saw him as early as 7:30 a.m. speaking to the students, assuring them or informing them that they will not be subjected to that kind of treatment in the subsequent papers. And the students were quite relieved with those assurances. And so their decision to demonstrate were, not being implemented, or they had to do away.
So they did not demonstrate. That's good to know. Take us to another school, the Kintampo College of Education, which has its own set of challenges, particularly with accommodation.
Yes, this particular school is a tertiary institution that is being faced with lots of challenges, especially with accommodation. Most of these students, a significant percentage of them stay outside the campus. And this is serving as a security threat to the authorities, because day in and day out, there are reports of students being attacked, girls being raped, or students, female students being raped. And in some instances, there are so many students are unable to stay on campus deep into the night because of fear of being attacked. All this is happening when the school is currently having an abandoned hostel facility that was started somewhere in the year 2007 by the erstwhile Kufuor administration. The director of the school, Dr. Odise, told us this facility, when completed, will be able to accommodate at least 400 students. And this being left there is causing a lot of problems for the school. So they were calling on authorities to swiftly come to the school and then do complete this particular structure to save the day. So that is another major story we looked at this week. And I want to wrap up with this issue where the health authorities in the region are reporting that over 50 health workers in the region contracted the COVID-19 disease. And almost all these health workers are not picking this disease from the health facilities they are working from, because most of these health workers from the facilities they are working, they do not even have confirmed COVID-19 cases. So that means they're picking it from the community they are coming from. And this is a sort of worry for the regional health director, Fred Adumakon.
Thank you so much on our service coming to us from the Bono East region. We end with the Upper West region. Rafiq Salam joins us with an update. Rafiq, what have you been looking at this week? Rafiq, your microphone is muted. Right. Right. It seems like we are finding a difficulty with Rafiq's line. We'll come back when we are able to. But Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin has joined us again. So Mahmoud, great. What have you been looking at this week? Right. Mahmoud, your microphone is muted.
Yes.
Great. So
I think it's okay now.
Yes, it's great. What are the stories you have been looking at this
Daniel,
week?
Daniel, roads are essential, especially rural roads. And so in the lack of these roads, we realize that many people remain cut off from social and economic lives. So the people of Manso in the Ashanti region are not happy their roads have not been constructed for over 3 years now since this government came into office. I mean, their concerns are that the member of parliament actually promised them that they were going to construct their roads as soon as they win power. But that is not what is happening. So from communities within the Manso area, communities like Manso Nkwanta, and among other communities have deplorable roads. So they were actually protesting against the poor nature of road and some other abandoned projects in the area.
Right, Mohammed, thank you so much for bringing us those updates from the Ashanti region. We wrap up, like I said, with Rafiq Salam, who is with us from the Upper West region. Rafiq, take us away. Right, I think you've muted the microphones again, Rafiq, unfortunately.
Hello, are you getting me?
Yes.
I hope you are getting me now.
Yes, I am.
We are talking about 80-year-old Darapo, who is a leper. And then remember the story, the hotline documentary that was done by Sef Kwame Boateng some few months ago. And then also, which has gotten several people CO donation coming to the aid of this octogenarian. And so, from the information that we gathered from the office, over 30,000 Ghana cedis has been donated to that cause. And so the office saw the need to open a bank account for this 80-year-old leper. And so a couple of days ago, we were at Motori, in an Atlantis community in the West district of the Upper West region, where that bank account was opened for the woman. And so the scene, the excitement at that particular venue was good because Darapo told us that she wasn't, at least if she dies, she will be happy because she's very, very jovial.
Right, and that was, that was the scene at Motori that Rafiq was describing, and the smiling face there was that of Darapo. It's very heartwarming, I must say. Rafiq, we just saw the scenes. How did you feel, meeting this woman and experiencing what she experiences?
In some of these things, because she said that growing up, she didn't believe that she will get what she's getting today. She also having a two-bed.
Unfortunately, we seem to have a few slight internet challenges, or technical challenges, I should say, and we will bring you the entirety of that conversation a bit later. But that's it from our correspondents this week. We take a few messages. When we come back, the countdown to December 7 is on. The general election is about you. When we come back, we speak to an independent presidential candidate, Onipayede Ossom Teye. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. This is The Pulse. Now, the countdown to December 7 is on. The general election is about you, the people, and the real issues. The Imani Center for Policy and Education and your election headquarters bring to you the minority political parties and independent candidate election debate. Today, we begin the build-up with a conversation with one of the independent candidates. Now, be sure to tune in every weekday till next Wednesday to get to know the candidates better. Before we speak to my guests today, take a look at this.
The countdown to December 7 is on. The general election is about you, the people, and the real issues. The Imani Center for Policy and Education and your election headquarters bring you the minor political parties and independent candidates election debate live on JoyNews, Joy 99.7 FM, and across our digital platforms. Send your questions ahead to info@imanighana.org. Let your voices be heard. The minor political parties and independent candidate election debate is brought to you by the Imani Center for Policy and Education and your election headquarters.
That's what we expect. Now in the studio with us is Onipayede Ossom Teye, one of the 6 who will be on the platform. Let's get to know him better. Onipayede Ossom Teye. That means people are nice, right? Hello? Your first name?
My first name is Onipayede Ossom Teye.
Onipayede?
Yes, please.
That means Onipayede. That means people are nice.
Yeah.
People are sweet.
Yeah.
So are you a people person?
Yeah. I'm a people person.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that why you want to run for president?
No,
because you have a lot of friends and you're a very popular person?
No. That's not my reason anyway.
Okay.
The reason is I started this thing way back about 12 to 15 years ago. Start doing research on my own about how Africa economy is suffering, and then we are not making any progress in our economy. So I think I've gathered a lot that I think I can deliver.
So you dedicated the past 12 to 15 years of your life to research on Africa.
Yes.
I'm curious as to what you found out.
Ghana in particular. Yes.
In Ghana in particular.
Yes,
I'm curious to what you found out, but let's go back a bit further. Okay. Who are you and what do you do?
Okay. As you said earlier, my name is Onipayede. I'm a welder by profession. And then I think since things became difficult for me, I started doing this research about how things must be able to go well for Ghana in particular. And then later I see that, no, we need to break away from our colonial mentality and then take on the battle of our...
Okay. So you're a welder?
Yeah, I'm a welder.
What kind of work do you do? What kind of things do you weld?
I fabricate... I used to fabricate metal, all sorts of this welding shop.
Okay. Yeah. So, like, did you work this morning? Did you go to work this morning?
Yeah, why not?
So this morning you were in the shop? Where's your shop?
Oh, my shop is at... I have two shops. One is at Accra here and then Eastern region.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so do you weld cars and you do fabrication?
No. I do fabrication.
Okay.
I don't do the auto work.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, great, great. So you decided to become president?
Yes, please.
Why not on a political party's ticket?
Yeah, you know, one thing we have to know is this. Now the political party have divided Ghana into two. It's either you are NDC and people label you as you are from this region, or MPP, and then they know that you are from this region. I think it's time we have to come together. We need an independent person who can be able to bring Ghanaians together. And that is the reason why I decided not to join any political party. Because it will be difficult for you to come on the ticket of MPP or NDC and bring Ghanaians together.
So you are seeking to unify Ghana?
Yeah, that is what leadership is all about. You know, if you want to be a leader, you don't have to have all the ideas about things, how things are supposed to work. You need to have this courage to bring all your subjects, those who are under you, together, so that everybody, whatever somebody have, can be able to bring it on board. Then you'll be able to govern the nation.
Let me ask this straight. Do you know how many people are in government at the moment? Government and the civil service. Do you know the number of people in government and the civil service at the moment?
Yeah, I quite do.
Yeah, what's the number? I mean, the number of people in the executive arm of government. If you add the number of ministers, the number of MCEs, the number of SOE CEOs. Did you have an idea what number we have?
No, I cannot tell you.
I mean, it's fair. It's fair.
Yeah.
I'll help you. The number of DC is at 254. The number of ministers in total over 100. The number of, if you add basically the entire civil service is about 14,000. You're looking at appointing people who would be chairs of boards, appointing people who will be ambassadors, and you're supposed to do this on your own. How is that going to happen?
No, I cannot do everything on my own. That is why I tell you that leadership is about bringing all the people together.
Okay.
Not that you have the idea of everything that you can be able to do it. It's about how you can be able to bring all the people together. And then, as we are talking now, it will be difficult for anybody who is on the ticket of MPP to bring every Ghanaians together, all the Ghanaians together. It will be difficult.
It's fair, yeah. But who will you appoint to be ministers and to be GCEs, for instance? You don't have a political machinery that you're operating. So how do you make those appointments?
Oh, what I said is, the best thing to do is to bring the people together. When they come together, you'll be able to select these people, rather than having your own people before. So if I have my own people, like I met you today, and I know that you can be good in maybe education, and later I found out that there is somebody who is better than you, I have to go in for that person. So leadership is all about bringing the people together. It's not about you having the people already.
No, it's great. I get the concept, but practically on the ground, tomorrow, Onipayede is president. Yeah. Onipayede needs to appoint a DCE for Vunkrugu Yoyo. How do you appoint a DCE for
the fact that I'm an independent candidate doesn't mean that I don't belong to any organization. I belong to CIPA, Coalition of Independent Political Aspirants. You see, so we have this platform already, but in as much as we have these things, doesn't mean that everybody needs to be chosen from there.
Okay.
You see, you need to bring the people together, and then you select.
So if you go to Kratchin tomorrow, how will you do the selection there for DC?
I have people all over the country.
People?
Yeah, I have people all over the.
Your people?
Yeah. Not my people, Ghanaians. Ghanaians are going to vote for me.
Okay.
So everybody, once you become the leader, everybody is under you. It doesn't mean that you have your people that specifically you are going to appoint them and then neglect the others because they are not your people.
Okay. We have so many students who are currently on a rampage in WASI because of this WASI situation. If you were president, what would you do to solve this situation?
Currently, I think, if I understand your question very well, it got to do with people who graduate but they are not getting anything doing currently.
No, I'm talking about students who are writing WASI.
Yeah.
And they started demonstrating because they say the exams were too difficult. In Deura Jakpa, they turned off the school's stabilizer. In the eastern region, they actually beat people and beat journalists because they said that they were being invigilated too strictly. So if you were president, what would you do about the situation?
Yeah, if I were the president today, one thing we have to know is because of the let me say the promise that they gave them. That is why they were doing this thing. So the problem started prior to this examination. You see, the courage and the
promise.
What they are doing now? You said that they said that how do you call it?
The exams are too difficult.
It's too difficult. They don't understand really what they are going to do there. Their understanding is different from the exams that they are writing now, and that creates the whole problem. If they understand that, oh, we are going to write exams, and it may be difficult, they will not do whatever they are doing. So I think the problem started way back when they were doing this mock and stuff. They understand that maybe everything is going to be easy for them, and now they found out that no, everything turned out different.
So now we are you are giving the why for the issue. So right now this has happened. If you were president today, what is the solution? What do we do?
If I were the president today,
what do we do now?
What I will do is just go there, talk to the people, because you cannot say that because of that you are going to give them free will that they should give them pass marks without writing the exams. So you need to talk to the people, sat them down, and let them understand that now your understanding is different from what the situation is now. So you need to write the exams rather than destroying.
Your final words, and I want to get you to get it in this point. 45,000 people have lost their jobs because of COVID-19. 770,000 people have had salary cuts because of COVID-19. Talk to them. You want to be president, talk to them. What will you do for them?
Okay, COVID-19, I don't think it's a problem for Africa. It's because of the way we are handling the issue. That is why COVID-19 becomes a problem. We need to understand this one first, that when it comes to healing or health, it's not about cure or vaccine. It's about the belief, the trust that you have first. Before you go for paracetamol or whatever, you need to understand that, or you have the trust that when I take paracetamol, it will go. Now, why I'm saying this is, you know, in Africa, when it comes to healthcare, we neglect our own. This thing, maybe help can be able to do it. As I'm talking to you, I'm supposed to move this in, but because of COVID, I cannot move it. Yeah. And this is a security trick, anyway. Because when I come here and I put on these things, and maybe something happens, it will be difficult for you to identify me. You see?
So you think we shouldn't wear nose masks?
No, I'm not condemning those because we don't have the vaccine, we don't have the cure now. So what I'll do as a president first is, I need to break away the monopoly in the health system. The herbal healthcare not supposed to have they're supposed to be autonomous, and then the orthodox healthcare. We cannot bring the herbal healthcare under the orthodox healthcare.
I was asking about the 42,000 people who have lost their jobs. And what is your solution for them?
The solution now is, if you get the cure now, you have the solution. If you don't get the cure, and then you are giving them...
So you invest in herbal health?
Yeah, I invest in herbal medicine to solve the problem once and for all. So that everybody can be able to go on his job, and then we have our liberty.
Onipayede Ossom, I wish we had more time to do this. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming. Yes, you're still live on the Pulse. Up next is sports. George Addo Jr. and Gary L. Smith are joining me as we discuss the UEFA Champions League's return. Stay with us. And you're live on the Pulse with me, Daniel Dazi. Let me welcome Gary L. Smith and George Addo Jr., who are joining us via Zoom. Hi, Gary. Hi, George. I'm beside myself right now. I can't wait for tonight.
Yeah, that's a good feeling.
Yeah. Gary's mic is muted, so we can't hear you. Gary's mic is muted. Can someone tell Gary to unmute his mic? Great.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Take it away, Gary.
Yes, I'm saying that, I mean, we are glad to be finally ending the countdown to the kickoff, and it's from 6:30, the build-up begins on Joy FM, and our coverage will also be, syndicated on social media and digital media, through myjoyonline.com. So yeah, we've been looking forward to that.
All right, and what game are we looking at tonight, George? And what are the permutations looking like?
Yeah, so we are running live commentary on the game involving Manchester City and Real Madrid. We know Manchester City lead Real Madrid by 2-1 after the first leg results, and it's all up to Madrid to try and get the result at Etihad. But we know that Madrid are without Sergio Ramos. That should be a plus for Man City. If you're a Man City fan, you should be excited because he's a very, very good organizer, and he will be a massive miss for Real Madrid. But they've got the character. They've won the Champions League 13 times, so they would be up for this challenge, and it's a big one. Pep Guardiola badly needs to win something, badly needs to win in Europe, and this may be just the opportunity. So it's a close game, and we'll be monitoring this to find out who gets to go through. The interesting thing about tonight is we need a winner, no matter how. We must find a winner tonight, and we'll find one. It's either Pep Guardiola or Zidane going through.
Interesting. What do you make of that matchup, Gary? Pep and Zidane, both very unique people in their own right,
Unique, so unique that between them, they've got, 5 Champions League trophies. And it doesn't come bigger than that in terms of the matchups. I mean, lots of respect between the two of them. Also, they are both bald. Yeah, so they've got something in common there.
Yeah, it looks like they will soon have something in common with you, Gary. Just kidding.
No.
Just kidding. But this weekend is going to see some other exciting games. It's not just Real and Man City, because the Champions League is finally back. Take us through some of the fixtures we should expect, Gary.
Yes, I mean, if you've seen our flyers going round, if you haven't, please check our social media pages. We've got Barcelona versus Napoli tomorrow for us. That's on Saturday, and also starts in terms of the build-up at 6:30. And then we've got later on the 12th, that's the Wednesday, next week Wednesday, Atalanta versus PSG. On Thursday, we have Leipzig versus Atletico Madrid. On Friday, next week Friday, Napoli or Barcelona, or Chelsea versus Bayern Munich. So that's going forward. But this weekend, we will see Chelsea in action, won't we, on Saturday? And it's been interesting watching how their end of season has not gone according to plan. But they are going to Germany, whose Bayern Munich have been in quite some form. And Lewandowski in particular will be licking his chops and probably looking to exact his revenge on the world of football for not, probably rewarding him for what he might say has been a very successful season where he expected possibly to win the Ballon d'Or this year.
Yep, interesting thoughts there. George, I don't know if you qualify to comment on Chelsea and Bayern Munich, because we all know the blue you're wearing is not just decoration.
Yeah, we're as objective as we must be during commentary, and clearly we're just looking at the merits of it. We'll be giving you updates on the Chelsea-Bayern game, or the Bayern-Chelsea game, I should say. Chelsea down by 2-0. We'll take a miracle. There are miracles in football. You enjoy the miracle, Liverpool fans. Daniel, you remember when you played against Barcelona? But this is a whole different kind of miracle that would need more angels than the angels that were consulted at Anfield, obviously. So we'll focus on the Barcelona-Napoli game. That looks much more in the balance. Okay. Given that Barcelona are going back to the Camp Nou on Saturday. Anyway, today, we've got Lyon and Juventus also on the side. Juventus are hosting Lyon, who lead by 1-0 in this one. Could be tight. You look at the two games. If Ronaldo's out of the Champions League, it's big news. If Messi's out of the Champions League, it's big news. So there's still a lot, right there. And I'm sure the anti-Ronaldo fans are getting ready and hoping that it works out for them tonight. And if Ronaldo is knocked out tonight, the anti-Messi fans will say, okay, it's your turn. Gattuso knock out Napoli. So all in all, it should be very exciting.
Interesting.
All the games to come.
Interesting. So just so we are clear, tonight our commentary game is Real Madrid Man City. Tomorrow is Barcelona Napoli. And going forward,
we have Real Madrid Man City, or Man City Real Madrid, and we've got updates of the Juventus Lyon game. So tonight we'll settle two of the teams that qualified to the quarterfinals. And then tomorrow our commentary game is the Barcelona-Napoli game. And we've got on the side, with all the updates for you, the Bayern-Chelsea game. Now, once we get the teams that qualify from here, they join the rest for the quarterfinal fixtures. We have some of the fixtures that are already set because some teams already qualified before COVID struck. So once that is complete, we'll go through the quarterfinals from Wednesday to Saturday next week, and then we proceed to the semis, and then the final on the 23rd of August.
Exciting, exciting. So Gary, I've been listening to the promos, the greatest show, been listening to the shows live, and been asking.
And you have been watching the bass guitar play as well.
I've been asking myself the question, George, we were asking this afternoon in locker room. What is my favorite part of a George Addo Gary L. Smith commentary? I've still not decided yet, but Gary, what should I expect when I tune in tonight to Joy FM?
Please do. Maybe we can help you make a decision. And guess what? Commentary is partly brought to you by, it's actually powered by DSTV and GoTV. Now, Daniel, from tonight, every day of our Champions League coverage until the 23rd, we are giving away 100 series worth of DSTV subscription airtime. Yes. Wow. Towards your next payment, yes, of your DSTV subscription. So that is the good news that we have for you.
Great news, great news. And kickoff time tonight is
7 p.m.
7 p.m., but the build-up begins at 6:30. And we recommend you join us for the build-up because it's like the first course before the main meal.
Right. Thank you so much, Gary L. Smith and George Addo Jr., arguably the best commentary pair you can find this side of the hemisphere. All the best tonight, guys.
All right, thanks, Dan.
All right, you're still live here on The Pulse. Take a look at this. I'll be right back. Sports on Twitter. The handle is @JoySportsGH. The Facebook page is Joy Sports, Joy Space Sports, as you can see there. @JoySportsGH is also the handle on Instagram. The hashtag for all Joy Sports programs are Joy Sports GH, but the hashtag for the Champions League is hashtag JoyUCL. Hashtag JoyUCL. And that's it for today's bulletin of the Pulse. My name is Daniel Dazi. Many thanks for joining us this entire week. It's time for us to break for the weekend. We'll be back on Monday with another exciting bulletin of the Pulse.